What is going on, guys? Let's see, is this work? It is. Okay. Hello. So this is sort of an off-the-cuff video here. I just wanted to talk about my first ever midnight console launch experience. So as I'm sure everybody watching this knows, the Nintendo Switch 2 just came out, and on Thursday night I got to go to the midnight launch at my local GameStop. It's technically 11 p.m. here because it's I live in Central Time, but it was an insane experience. But to describe the full story of how it went down, you have to go back to when the pre-orders officially launched. When the pre-orders went live online originally on whatever day that was, I forget, it was like May 2nd or something, or like April 20, somewhere around there, I don't know. But so I had hoped to go to an in-store pre-order at GameStop, but I didn't know if I would, like, I don't want to miss the online ones and then fail in store, you know. And so I went ahead and I was like, all right, I'll play it safe. I'll try to land one online and one in store. Worst case scenario, I just cancel one of them, right? So I've got Best Buy, Walmart, and Target all loaded up simultaneously on my computer. And y'all know my good buddy Alex. He was doing the same thing. We were on a call trying to get, and we were going over what the status was. We were going to try to help each other out. Trying to keep when things went live. Walmart was bugging out. Target was crashing out on us. Best Buy, as many people know, just didn't even go live for way too long afterwards. It's like we never got it to work. Eventually, the Best Buy thing went live. I was like, hey, Best Buy just went live. Like, try it right now. I was successful, and I landed a pre-order. And but Alex was not. He was not successful in landing one. So that left the next morning for GameStop, and I was like, I'm gonna go early. I want to go there because I really want to pick up my system in person. I don't want it shipped to me. Best Buy had in-store pickup, but my nearest Best Buy is 45 minutes away, and I have a GameStop 10 minutes away. So I'd much rather go to the GameStop, especially for like a midnight release. It'd be much easier for me at the GameStop, and it's with how online pre-orders have gone for the last set of console releases with the PS5 and Xbox, I was not confident that my pre-order wasn't going to get canceled. So I went to GameStop about 4 or 5 hours before they opened, and I was like 5th in line at my GameStop to get a pre-order in. I did. I was successful. I got a pre-order in store there. My friend Alex, who lives in a busier area than I did, he went to a GameStop, but the line, there were more people in front of him, and he was not able to land a pre-order before he had to go to work that day, because obviously the pre-order date came out not too long before the actual pre-order date happened, and he wasn't able to get off from work in that time. So he was stuck without a pre-order while I had two. So I told him, I was like, hey, if you want, I could sell you one of my pre-orders at the cost I paid for them. If you're willing to come down here and get it, assuming that my pre-orders don't get canceled. And he's like, yeah, that sounds great, because we live in different states. I feel like that should have been mentioned earlier. He lives in my home state up in Illinois. I live in Tennessee now. So we don't really get to see each other very often or hang out in person. We mostly just play games online. And he was just like, sweet, we can make it a whole thing. We can hang out, because we haven't gotten to do that in a couple of years. So you can make a whole like little small trip out of it. And I was like, all right, that sounds great. And my pre-orders never got canceled. And so he was like, all right, he's like, I'm coming down. But then we heard about how GameStop was having their launch day stock have their orders open at 3 p.m. the day before, like 3 p.m. on Wednesday, to essentially pre-order the launch day stock. And so I told him, I was like, hey, if you can make it into town by then, we could save ourselves a trip up to Best Buy, because you'd likely have to do it the next day. After going through the midnight launch there, I think Best Buy would be closed by the time we got up there. I don't know for sure, but or we could at least save ourselves a trip to Best Buy. If not a trip, then it might even be the next day. We could save ourselves a lot of time, gas, and everything, and time playing the Switch 2. We could have that a couple hours at least more of time playing the Switch 2 together in person, if he can land one at GameStop. So he came into town early. I was still at work, but he was able to get into GameStop and land a in-store pre-order for the launch day stock. And so after I got off of work that day, at about 6 hours before the consoles go live, we run over to my house to show him around. I get changed out of my work uniform, and we book it up to GameStop. And so I get in there, and there's a couple people kind of in there asking about it, or still placing pre-orders for launch day stock, because I guess they'd had that much stock that they hadn't even run out, even though it's been a couple hours by this point since the launch day stock went live to order. And this is when I found out you can apparently from this point on, you can pay off the rest of the pre-order. I thought you had to leave at least $1. I thought it was sort of like a layaway type thing. You have to have at least $1 on it for the sale to remain open, and the sale cannot be completed until it hits street date. That's how I understood it, at least. But I found out you could just pay off the whole thing now, and so we did that, paid off the whole thing. So we would just, whenever the time came, they would just take, like, they'd wrote a number on my receipt. They would take my number, they'd give me the bag with my stuff in it. I was like, alright, sweet. And I noticed there was a couple of, like, TVs sitting up on the counter with some games on them, and I was like, what's all this going on? Because I was like, they weren't modern games, they were from, like, the 2000s. And the store manager of that GameStop had brought in his own personal GameCube and Wii for customers to play while waiting on the midnight launch of the system. Just so we would have stuff to do, because he knew we'd be hanging out here a while. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So me and Alex, also, when it comes to Alex, if y'all didn't know, he's in a video at least once a week on my channel, every week. So most people watching this have probably seen him. If not, unless you're new to my channel, in which case, hello. My name's Jesse, nice to meet you. But we were playing some Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube for a little while, out of hype for Mario Kart World. We played on it for a little while. We eventually were like, let's grab something to eat real quick. It seems, because there's no line for me. So I was like, all right, we'll go grab something to eat real quick, because we were both hungry, and we'll come back. And we did. There still was not a line for them. There were people just kind of hanging out around the store, either looking around, or they were, again, paying off their orders or trying to land more launch day stock. They did run out before the launch window opened, but it lasted longer than I thought it would. But when we come back, I was looking around the store, and I was like, you know, this one spot over here, I feel like is going to be where because it's right in front of the registers, and it's on the left, because the way the registers are positioned, when you walk in, the registers are at the far back left corner. There's obviously two. One's more toward the center of the store, and the other one's like on the far left side. So me and Alex went and popped a squat down in the aisle past it. I wasn't blocking off the register, because there were people that were just actually buying things like Funko Pops or video games or what have you. That was unrelated to the Switch 2, and I wasn't going to do that, especially for people who are coming in and trying to pay off their Switch 2s. And then some other people start coming in to, actually wait in line. They're like, is this the line? I'm like, oh, yeah, this is definitely the official real line for GameStop order pickup. I said it was officially no, but unofficially, yeah, pretty much. And they just started piling up the line behind us. And eventually the line starts getting over, as an hour or so passes, the line is getting to where it's winding down the different aisles and whatever of the GameStop. And so I'm telling Knox, I was like, dude, we've actually started a line. So at this rate, I'm going to be the first person to get a Switch 2, because I'm sitting to his left, and their backs are against the left wall. So I'm closer to the register. It was like, we're going to be the first two people to get a Switch 2. And we would be the first two people in the county to do it, because this GameStop location is the only store in the county that is doing a midnight launch, as there are no Best Buys. And this is the only GameStop that is not inside of a mall that is in our county. So I was like, this is so exciting. And the line, by the time 11 o'clock hits for us, or midnight for everyone on the east, the entire store is filled to the brim with people. Like from the left wall all the way to the right, winding down snake style, all the way across the entire freaking building, or entire store. And there's so many people densely packed in here. And me and Alex, during this couple hours, we busted out our Switches because we brought them with. It's like, hey, let's play some Smash, because we haven't played Smash in years. It's been forever since I had played Smash, and him and I hadn't played together since over 4 years ago. So I was like, let's bust out some Smash, that'd be fun. And some of the other guys that I had met during the pre-order line asked to join in, or one of them did, and then another stranger that was just the one that was directly behind us in line asked to join in too, and we were like, sure. And so we were all gaming, playing Smash for a couple of hours. It was tons of fun. I'd like to think we all were pretty equal. We all got a few wins apiece. We all had our embarrassing moments. It was really fun, and it was a ton of fun. It made the time fly by. And meanwhile, this whole time, the store manager at this GameStop was just talking to us about like the games we're playing, and he's not even. The store manager was so cool. I really like. I don't want to dox anything, so I'm not going to say his name, but he was super awesome. He was hanging out, and he was literally playing Guitar Hero on the Wii. I don't remember which one because I swapped between the games a couple times. But he was playing Guitar Hero on the Wii with one of the guys that was waiting for the pre-order. And they were, because he literally brought the guitar accessories and everything, and they were going wild. The staff at this GameStop was great. They were all, even the people that weren't with them were out hanging out playing games with the people waiting in line, because at this point nobody's there for anything else but that. And when 11 o'clock hits, sure enough, the store manager looks at me and goes, because they're like, you know, whoever hasn't fully paid off, get to line up over here. So we're gonna try to get people who have paid out of here first to, you know, get the most people out of here as quickly as possible. And he looks at me because I'm right there first. He's like, "All right, you're up." And I got to be at first. I was like, "All right, I'm number." I don't think that really matters, but I don't want to risk anything. And he's like, "All right," and so the other employee, she walks into the back, walks out with my bag, hands it to me, and they hand everything off to me, and they're like, "Have a good evening." I was like, "Thank you so much." And I'm walking out. I was the first person in the county to get a Nintendo Switch 2. And I kid you not, one of the guys as I'm walking out goes, "Congratulations." And I'm like, thanks. I earned it by spending money, I guess. But it was just a super fun evening. Everybody there was super cool. People were making jokes. There was somebody a few people back from us, who was asking, like, I wonder if there's anybody here who's buying a Switch 2, but like has not only is not buying, but has no interest in playing Mario Kart. And I made the joke of like, yeah, that's me. I'm buying it exclusively to play Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Just kidding, by the way. I'm not paying money for that. I refuse to pay money for a tech demo. But it was just so cool talking with all these people that I've never met before, probably will never meet again. About being excited about this console. I've never felt so, like, in my time gaming, I've never felt so surrounded by my own people. Like, the closest I could think of was when I went to the Nintendo store in New York. I can't remember if it was right after the name change or right before the name change from Nintendo World New York to just Nintendo New York store. But regardless, it was such a cool experience. And, you know, Alex was the next guy right behind me, and it's like, dude, we were the first people in the area to get a Switch 2. There's a chance they might have even been the first people in a wide span, because the way the GameStop handled this, it was super fast. Because I feel like at Best Buy, they might have a little more steps to go through rather than reading off a number and them handing you a bag. I feel like they might have to actually do something in the register with So I think they had to like scan a QR code and run it through the register first. So by a matter of seconds, I might have been first in like the region, but I don't know. I can't prove that at all. But so me and Alex get back to the car, and I'm opening this thing right then and there because, well, one, I wanted to confirm I had all the right stuff because there's a lot of people there. That's not unlikely that they might have just accidentally misread or put the wrong stuff in the bag or something, or not put stuff in the bag. I double checked everything. I opened the system. I'm feeling the Joy-Cons, and I of course have to do the thing. Gotta get the click in there of them. It's super satisfying. I've been doing it constantly, and just enjoying it. Me and Alex book it home, and we're both super tired because we both had to get up really early in the morning, and so we've been up at this point for almost 20 hours. And he had a long drive that day, and I was at work all day during that day, and my back had been killing me because I'd just been sitting there on the floor of the store after standing all day and not really getting the chance to have anything to support my back at all. And my back was killing me, but I was like, no, I'm playing Mario Kart tonight. I didn't go to a midnight launch to not play this game. And Alex was on that same boat. And so we played some Mario Kart. I did my first Grand Prix, which I made be the Star Cup because I had to unlock my favorite character in Rosalina. And we, because I got the physical version of Mario Kart, he got the digital, so I did a Grand Prix while I was waiting for him and to download. And when his was finished downloading, we hopped on, did some verses, and did a round of Knockout Tour before heading to bed for the evening. And then he stayed at my place. And then in the morning, we got up and just hopped on Mario Kart immediately and played it for hours until he had to leave to drive back home. And it was just super cool. I've never been in a situation where I felt so surrounded by my own people. Like when we were playing Smash and we agreed that we can play our custom stages, and one of the people had a stage that was Scott the Waz's desk. I was like, I've never met somebody who is also a Scott the Waz fan, like in person. I've met people online, obviously, but not in person. So that was crazy. And it made me super happy. And then the other guy there, also out of the four of us, also knew who that was. And he made the "Hey all, Scott here" reference immediately after I pointed out what it was. And yeah, it was super cool. And also, I wore another thing I wanted to mention. I wore my Joy-Con Boys shirt, not the one that you see me wearing right now, but it was the red one. It was just the plain Joy-Con Boys one, which is the one that I got in the build up to the Switch launch. Wore it on that day, and I wore it to the Switch 2 launch in memory of Etika as well. And then wore my black Joy-Con Boys Forever shirt. Think of it as the inverted colors of this one today, because it's I cannot think of the Nintendo Switch family of systems without thinking of him. So rest in peace to my boy Etika. And yeah, that's really about it. I've been rambling for way too long, but I just had to get this out there. It was such a cool experience. I've never had such a pleasant experience at a GameStop either. What's my avatar doing right now? I've never had such, not that GameStops are always bad, but you're always walking in and they're constantly hassling you about pre-orders, and because that's what corporate makes them do. That's what their jobs are reliant on, is corporate judges their performance off of their pre-orders and everything, and upselling things, GameStop Pro, Power Up Rewards Pro memberships and all that. But today it seemed like everybody there was just excited. I expected it to be almost worse. I expected them to be like dreading, having to work these extra hours, working way later than normal. But they seemed to be like just as excited as we were for the system, and they were all just being pals, just hanging out with the people that were waiting in line and just chatting with us the whole time. It made the time fly by. think that we were sitting there for almost 6 hours, and it didn't even feel like one. It was because time flew by so fast from the amount of fun that we were having. And so yeah, shout out to my local GameStop and to any other GameStop or Best Buy employees who had to deal with midnight launch of that day. Y'all are the real heroes of all this. I know that you're got to be really exhausted after working that. Thank you so much for making things so smooth for a lot of us, and just know it doesn't go unappreciated. And yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stick around. I'll probably start uploading some Mario Kart World footage playing with friends some point soon. My first, me and Alex playing it here, we didn't record. We just wanted to be playing it as friends, which is what we're doing on when we're recording anyways. But we wanted to be hanging out just in the room playing the game. But you'll be seeing us play the game more real soon, I promise. With my fingers crossed, because I can't 100% guarantee, but very, very likely. So I've been playing Mario Kart World and Cyberpunk 2077 because I've never actually I hardly started the game when it initially launched. You can probably guess why I didn't get very far, why I stopped playing, but so far I'm having a blast now. And that is all for now. Thank you everybody for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.